Why is Sizzy so confusing? This is insane. He is an enigma. The 8th Espada, who prides himself on being perfect, analyzes the enemy, strengthens himself, and breaks through situations. Szayelaporro Grantz. Sizzy is a character who creates advantageous situations by retrieving the planted remembered spirit bug and analyzing the opponent. That remembered spirit bug is what they were calling the Rokurichu in the trailer. He plants the remembered spirit bug on the opponent with a specific attack and retrieves it using his own technique. Retrieving the remembered spirit bug affects damage taken, the number of souls destroyed by the soul destroying technique, and even the resurrection when souls reach 0. Since he starts with a low number of souls and runs the risk of defeat if left as is, obtaining the resurrection effect is a lifeline. He is required to understand the strengthening rules of the remembered spirit bug and to play in an endurance-oriented manner, with the possibility of taking advantage of resurrections to win by decision in mind. The way that this is worded makes it sound like you are guaranteed to get the resurrection once you get your analysis progress to a certain stage. So that's how I'm interpreting that. But what's really interesting is the fact that they say he will start with a low number of souls. So is he not gonna start out with the normal 9 Konpaku that we see with every single character? Is he going to start out with like 6 or something like that? That would make sense, because as we get further into his abilities, some things are going to pop out to us, and I'm thinking that's going to be the case. They're going to have him start out with 6 souls to balance the fact that he gets so many souls back when he is able to revive. Sizzy is a 2-star ease of use character. I thought so hard. I really genuinely believed that he was going to be our first 1-star ease of use character, and now I don't even know if we're going to get one. He is extremely weak. He has absolutely abysmal attack, average, and speed. Pretty decent when it comes to his zoning ability as well. He's got average reach. His defense is low too, so he's squishy. He does not hit hard, and he's not too fast, but he is maxed out when it comes to his technique or his special skills stat, which we could have probably guessed that this was going to be the one that was maxed out. But I thought genuinely he was going to have really thick defense just because of how hard he was going to be to kill. But that's not the case. He's pretty squishy, and he needs to do some push-ups. He can't hit you very hard at all. That's going to be very, very hard to play with him, especially with the RNG aspect of things. But I'm assuming this is to balance that RNG, because depending on how things play, you may be able to destroy a lot more souls with Sizzy. The fact that we have not 1, not 2, but 3 sections for his unique specifications with multiple spaces in between the descriptions is exactly why I thought he would be a 1-star ease of use character. The first thing that they show off to us is his unique specifications. These 3 bars right here, this is obviously the gauge. I think this 3 right here is the stage, and then this 100 is the spiritual pressure understanding level. That's how I think it works. So let's just go down one by one. The first unique specification is his recorded spirit insect. By hitting the opponent with a specific attack, a spirit bug will be planted on them. What that spirit bug does, it increases the gauge, which then affects the stage, which has a passive effect on the level. So that's how I'm thinking this is going to work. The next unique specification is the analysis progress stage. Progression depends on the number of relic bugs currently planted. As the stage progresses, the number of spirit bugs required to collect to increase the gauge using your signature skill or your spiritual pressure technique to decreases. I know I kind of paraphrased it a little bit there, but what this means to me is as that number goes up towards 3, the amount of insects that you have to plant to get that next increase in stage and to get that next progress on the gauge itself will go down. And then they talk about the spiritual pressure technique too, which we did not get to see in the trailer. and I will go over that in just a second. The next unique specification they show is the spiritual pressure clarification level. The gauge will fill up when the planted spirit bug is retrieved using a unique technique or by using spiritual pressure technique 2. As the gauge fills up, the spiritual pressure reveal level will gradually increase. What this means to me is as the gauge itself, that 3-segmented bar, increases, you will get closer and closer to 100. And as that gauge increases, you are also increasing in stage. So you're working your way up from, I'm assuming, either 0 or 1 all the way up to 3. Now, my question is, are you filling the entire bar up the whole time? And that's how you increase the stage, or is each segment a different portion of the stage and you technically only need to fill it up all the way once? I don't know. We would need to get some more gameplay to see what that actually turns out to be. There are 3 benefits to be gained by increasing the level. The damage taken will be reduced, and this can mean either the damage to your health bar, the damage to your souls, or a combination of both. I think it's just going to be the damage to your health bar, but if it's also the damage to your souls, Sizzy might be busted, because this is a guaranteed effect. This is not part of the RNG. This will happen no matter what if you hit the appropriate stage, and I'm assuming you need to hit stage 1 for this to activate. After awakening, it will be easier to get results with a large number of souls destroyed using soul destruction techniques. After you awaken, depending on how high that level is, how close it is to 100, depends on how much of a chance you have to destroy extra souls. I'm thinking that you are going to be able to destroy a set amount of extra souls, and it's just an increased probability of that set extra amount of souls being able to be destroyed happening. How many souls will we be able to destroy? I don't know. Will it be 6? Will it be 7? Will it be 8? Will it be all 9? I don't know. Like, anything is on the table at this point, especially with how they're playing around the souls mechanic as a whole. And this is where the RNG comes into place. This is essentially the only part of his kit that is RNG based, because the next thing we see is after awakening, when the soul reaches 0, it will be revived with a soul of 3. So you get 3 of your Konpaku back. Occurs up to 2 times depending on the level. So if you have this all the way maxed out, you will be able to come back not once, but twice. That is insane to me. At first, I thought based off the trailer that these would be able to stack, and you might be able to come back depending on how the RNG plays out with 6 lives, but that's not how I'm thinking this works now. I'm thinking this works by depending on how much progress you have in the meter will determine how many times you can revive. So maybe when you first fill up the meter, like you get to the first stage or however they do it, you get the damage reduction and you get to get that guaranteed revive after you awaken. And then after you fill it up to the second stage, that's when you get the RNG for the Konpakus, how many of those you'll destroy with your Kikon move. And then when you max it out, you get that guaranteed second revival. I don't know, because if it's the case that after he awakens, you cannot fill this meter anymore, which I don't think is going to be the case just because of how his kit is. Well, we did see him use a different type of combo structure after his awakening where he called in the big boys. So possibly, I was thinking that was just a part of his combo string, but maybe that replaces some of his spiritual pressure techniques and we just get literally a whole second character after he awakens. I don't know, but at the end of the day, you are guaranteed to get that revival if you have enough progress. That's what I'm running with. And then they were mentioning the spiritual pressure technique 2 a lot. And since they didn't show that in the trailer, I want to go over that now. I thought it would be another command grab type of thing, but his spiritual pressure technique 2, it's already been analyzed, says this: the gauge of spiritual pressure clarification level accumulates. So that gauge, that segmented gauge, when you pop your spiritual pressure technique 2, will increase. The amount of gauge accumulation is affected by the analysis progress stage. So I'm assuming that the higher stage that you have for your analysis progress, the more you will gain on your gauge when you use your spiritual pressure technique 2, which would mean that you want to plant as many spirit bugs on them as possible. And now I know you're asking yourself, how do you even do that? Great question. Let's go over that right now. Based off the information that we got in the trailer, the only way that you can plant these bugs onto your opponent is by using your spiritual pressure technique 1, die in a state close to perfection. When attacked while in stance, this is a counterattack technique that uses Sonido to get behind the opponent and counterattack. In addition to dealing damage, it also plants a spirit bug on the opponent. This seems like the only way for you to actually plant bugs on your opponent is through a counterattack that will use 50 of your spiritual pressure, so 1 segment of your EX meter. I'm thinking that he might have some hidden utility where his R1, his breaker, his grab, also serves the same function to either retrieve or plant a spirit bug. I don't think that the only way for you to plant and retrieve spirit bugs is through his unique skill to retrieve and then his spiritual pressure technique 1 to plant. I think that he will have at least like 1 or 2 more ways to do both of those things. Maybe your breaker retrieves it, but your special flash attack will plant it or something like that. I don't know, but I think he has to have more than just 1 way to do both of those things for him to be legitimately viable, especially because of the way he has to do it with this spiritual pressure technique 1 being a counterattack. It's not even something that you have agency of doing. The other player has to hit you. You can't just get them in a combo and plant your bug, whatever. They legitimately have to be bamboozled. That leads me to believe that he is going to see a low level of popularity if we don't have multiple ways for him to actually plant and retrieve his bugs. Speaking of retrieving his bugs, his unique skill, collecting recorded spirit bugs, does just that. Grab the opponent at close range and retrieve the planted spirit insects. The number of spirit insects retrieved increases in the analysis stage / spirit pressure elucidation level, and the user gains a corresponding increase in ability. After you have planted umpteenth bugs on these people, you grab them back, and that will increase the stage that you are in for your analysis progress, which will also increase the spiritual pressure understanding level because the gauge itself increases once you retrieve those spirit bugs. That is a little confusing, maybe a little bit more than a little confusing. That's a lot of confusing. Why is Sizzy so confusing? This is insane. Like, this is crazy. How is he not a 1-star ease of use character? I don't know. But what's insane to me is the fact that this is a command grab. So looking at the actual trailer, his range being medium is very interesting because all of his techniques that make him a threat are close range. So maybe his range is coming from his awakening. I don't know. If you're playing as Sizzy, you're going to have to be playing up close and personal. I'm wondering how easily this can combo with your regular attack strings. Like, is this something that I can just in the middle, say I have simple controls on, even though we won't play like that because we're true gamers. Say I have simple controls on. Can I mash on my 3rd square? Can I press circle and then mid combo he'll just retrieve the bugs? Like, is that something that I can do? Or is this something that has to be thrown out in neutral? Like, you genuinely cannot combo this. I think that it has to be able to be comboed into. If you can't combo into this, this man is doodle butt dog water on release. I don't care. Like, if you cannot combo into these moves that you need to buff yourself, I think he's dead on arrival. So he has to be able to have some combo functionality. And even if we go back to the beginning and look at his auto combo, or his quick attack string, I should say, it kind of looks like, I don't know if he's punching them, but it kind of looks like he's doing either a planting or a retrieving motion with his non-sword hand. So I'm thinking that even within his regular attack strings, he's going to have to be able to do these things, and then you can stack on top of that with your unique skills, your special flash attacks, and your spiritual pressure techniques. That's how I'm thinking he's going to work, because there's just no way. He has to be able to have more than one way to do these things. I mentioned his awakening earlier, so let's go ahead and go over that now. His awakening sword release Evil Princess. By releasing the sword and releasing the Evil Princess, the performance is strengthened. The number of souls destroyed by the soul destruction technique varies depending on the probability, and the higher the level of the spiritual pressure elucidation, the easier it is to deal high damage. Also, when the user's soul reaches 0, they can be revived with a soul of 3. Based on that spiritual pressure understanding level being as high as it can possibly be, that is going to determine how hard of a time or how easy of a time you will have to deal extra soul damage when you use your Keycon moves. And then on top of that, based on the progress that you have made, whether you're on stage 1, 2, or 3, you will also be able to revive either once or twice when all your souls are destroyed. And this is on top of the basic buffs that you get from Awakening, like doing an extra soul of damage when you do your Keycon move in the first place. So I genuinely don't know how nasty he's going to be in his Awakening if you have everything maxed out, and I don't know how common it's going to be to have everything maxed out. Will we be seeing most games where you're just at that second stage? Maybe you're getting steamrolled and you have to awaken when you're at your first stage? Who knows? We can see that if you want to have his maximum potential, you're probably gonna want to hold off on using his awakening until all of his things are maxed out. And then within his awakening, we see he starts fighting with those like little weird branch things on his back. And mid-combo, he's calling out one of his big boys, who's not as big as I feel like they were in the anime. So I don't know if his basic combo structure is changing, or if this is a complete change in his kit altogether, and that was like his signature move or something like that. Because I didn't see the spiritual pressure technique animation pop up. So if this isn't either a special flash attack or a signature skill, it's just part of his basic combo structure, which is kind of crazy. What else do we not know about his basic combo structure? Because we saw that he's not calling people out in base. So what else changes? I don't know. He is an enigma. Crazy, crazy, crazy. I am honestly super duper excited to try him out. The homie L said the spirit bugs might stack. So his game plan might be to stack spirit bugs with spiritual pressure 1, stack enough to get his meter to level 2, then use his unique skill for profit, repeat for level 3. Since he seems to have an auto revive, matches with him may take longer than normal, so you'll need to adjust resource management for that. The RNG on his Keycon damage seems to just be to help balance him having an auto revive. You should be able to greatly lower the RNG by raising his percent meter as the fight goes on. I think your analysis, L, was spot on. I think you nailed it. I think that these spirit bugs will be able to stack to make it more, especially if there's only the one way to plant and retrieve the spirit bugs, to make it more viable. It's like, okay, you put a whole bunch on them and then you take them away all at once instead of just one at a time. I think it will stack like that. And then you are 1000% correct. His percent meter, that goes all the way up to 100, that is what will dictate how easy it is to deal extra soul damage. So you are spot on there. Great observation, great analysis. The homie Nova said the revival mechanic might be a little bit more different than what we're thinking of. In a trailer, it looks like there's a section where they show the revival mechanic off when he's coming out of the squid. He's in his awakened state. I'm assuming in his awakened state, he can't collect any more progress analysis data, which means that he can't pop off another second revival or get any increased damage, so he would just be a regular character at that point. 3 Konpaku is still crazy, but it's nothing wild, especially considering that I'm pretty sure they're gonna get rid of all your progress data once you revive. That last part, getting rid of all your progress data once you revive, is a hot take. I don't think that they will do that, But I think you were spot on in saying you won't be able to increase progress after you awaken. I'm thinking that's going to be the case because his kit just looks so much more different. And they're saying that he has medium range. So I'm like, all of his skills are close moves that we're seeing in his base. So unless they completely retool his kit when he awakens, I'm not seeing that range at all. The homie Dragon Puncher said, I was laughing my ass off trying to understand his crazy abilities. Seriously. Seems like a character that slowly gets more and more powerful like Aizen, but unlike Aizen, you need to build your whole playstyle around it, since you have to plant this thing in the opponent with a counter no less, and then retrieve them with a grab. But if you make all that work, he seems pretty amazing. Any character that has an extra life essentially will be strong is my prediction. Spot on. He does seem like a slower burn Aizen, but I don't want to use the term slower burn because I do think Aizen is going to be the slowest burning character that we have in this game and the most steam rolling. I think that you'll probably be able to build things up a little bit faster than with Aizen since you have more direct control over it, whereas with Aizen, it's a thing that builds up in the background over time. So yeah, I genuinely think that what's going to make Sizzy such a threat is the fact that he can come back not once but twice under the proper conditions. So even though he's coming back with 3 lives, it sounds like it's a lot to come back with 3 souls, but I've seen this comment a few times too and I do agree with it. Coming back with 3 souls at the point in the game where you're already awakened and your opponent's in spirit drive, sublimation, what have you, is no different than coming back with 1 soul, because any Keycon move that they do to you is going to destroy all of your souls. It's going to be doing at least 4, but most likely 5 if we're talking about like popular characters online, especially if they go for the soul break aspect, which I wouldn't recommend when you're fighting against a Sizzy that has the opportunity to revive twice. We can also talk about the meta of Sizzy. The fact that he does have less lives to start out means he doesn't want to play away because he has to be in your face to do his research. So he is going to be a very, very hard character to play, man. He keeps climbing up on that interest level tier list for me. I don't know, man. He might be 3rd, 4th, or 5th. I don't know. We'll have to see. And then the homie Smooth Hoops said, you can tell the devs are putting their full effort into this game, man. I'm grateful and will be pre-ordering very soon. Good, do it, jump on board. Pre-orders are bad. Most games you probably shouldn't pre-order because they're just scamming you for your money, but this game is different. I don't care. Pre-order it as soon as you can. Join the army, man. Like I know people that are pre-ordering it on multiple platforms, which is a normal thing. Like that's a very normal thing, so you can have multiple accounts and you can play with multiple different types of people. But if you want to play this game, I think you are going to get really, really good benefits by pre-ordering it. If you're into the cosmetics. If you're into the cosmetics. If you're not into the cosmetics, don't worry about it. Just get that, get the game when it comes out. But me personally, not only am I a huge Bleach fan, I'm a huge fan of alternate costumes, and that's pretty much what they're giving us out the wazoo with those pre-order bonuses. But yeah, guys. Talk about a yap session. Crazy. I feel like Sizzy himself just rambling off, dude. This is insane. Honestly, he's got me excited for the rest of the cast that we're going to get, because if they're willing to get this crazy and wacky, who knows how far they're willing to go in total. If you like that one, definitely leave a like, a comment, and subscribe. I want to say super duper shout out to everybody that has been subscribing and that has joined the militia. That's what we call our community. Whether you subscribe, whether you join the Discord, whether you become a channel member, you are part of the militia. As soon as you hit that red button, as soon as you press that thumbs up, as soon as you leave a comment, you are part of the militia. So make sure you guys, if you do want to join the Discord, become channel members, because we are private now. So if you want to be in the Discord and talk all things Bleach with me and plenty of other people, make sure you join now. It's only 99 cents. What are you doing? Come on. You got it. I know you got that dollar. It's been real. It's your boy, Lee the Warlord, and I'm out of here. Peace.
I'm a gangsta. Yeah. Yeah.